KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
A 2-year-old girl was found alone in the woods near freezing temperatures. How authorities found her and what arrests were made as a result. Questions mount over the death of the Texas A&M student Brianna Aguilera. Why her family and attorney are demanding a deeper investigation into this case.
And it is a cooler morning for us here in San Antonio. Clear skies already. There's a lot going on here in San Antonio. The forecast of what all you need to know coming up.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on your Saturday. It is December 6th. We're joined by Shelby this morning.
Yes. Good morning. Still getting used to mornings, especially waking up, having it be colder.
Yeah, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, wait, I need to go back inside because I need a jacket. I forgot about this part.
Yes, but the good news is you can shed the jacket later this afternoon. We're going to be getting to the 70s. This morning, though, you still might want to stay under the covers, stay under the blanket, maybe have some hot coffee as that sun is rising and that sun needs a few more hours to really allow our temperatures to warm up. 49 degrees in San Antonio this morning. 43 in Boerne. The hill country, though, especially in Kerrville, dipping to 37 degrees this morning. So some folks are still feeling a few degrees cooler and are sitting a little cooler than other areas. But it's December and we don't want the 70s. Yes, some people like the 70s and it's still going to be warmer, but this is about 10 degrees warmer than our average temperature. And this is feeling more like fall, not like Christmas, which I know some folks at the Boerne Christmas Parade want to be feeling like. Tonight, the Boerne Christmas Parade starts at about 6 p.m., starting off with clear skies and going to continue to see those clear skies. But the temperatures are still going to be a little on the cooler side, dipping into the 50s. But not only do we have the Boerne Christmas Parade today, there's the Pearl Farmers Market and the San Antonio Half and Full Marathon is tomorrow here in San Antonio. Now, tomorrow morning, if you're waking up to go to the marathon, it still might be a little chilly, so you might want to reach for an extra layer or two as we'll be waking up in the 50s. Some could be in the 40s. But then we're also going to see the skies continue to clear and give us those warmer temperatures in the afternoon. I'll break down your full forecast and your marathon forecast coming up in just a bit.
Shelby, thank you. A 2-year-old girl was found alone in the woods around 3 a.m. yesterday. At that time, it was about 40 degrees and she was wearing just a dress and no shoes. Now, her mother and grandmother are both in jail. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office posted this video on their Facebook page saying deputies started searching for the little girl after another homeowner noticed this. The girl on their security cameras. The child's mother, Haley People, said she found her daughter earlier but didn't call police. When officers went to her home, they found the home in an unsafe condition and took Peoples into custody. The child's grandmother, Rebecca Kelly, was also arrested for trying to remove her other grandkids from school. Peoples is being charged with abandoning and endangering a child. Kelly is facing a charge for interference with the investigation of abuse and neglect and the little girl and her siblings were all taken in for health checks. All right, too many questions and no answers. That's how an attorney describes the Austin Police Department's investigation into the death of Brianna Aguilera, a Texas A&M student. Attorney Tony Busby is representing her father during a press conference. Busby brought up multiple problems within the investigator's report. He says the investigator didn't talk to witnesses or collect enough evidence. Austin PD concluded the 19-year-old died after jumping off a 17-story apartment balcony. But Brianna's family doesn't believe it. Her mother is demanding investigators dig deeper.
I can deal with you being annoyed each time I called or tried to talk to you. I can deal with how arrogantly you talk down to us each time we talk. I cannot deal with your failure to do your job. Do your job.
Busby is now asking Governor Greg Abbott to get the Texas Rangers involved to investigate. So we're hearing the chaos that unfolded at Camp Mystic on July 4th. That's when heavy rain caused the Guadalupe River to rise to historic levels. In the tragic aftermath, more than 100 people lost their lives in Kerr County, including 25 campers and 2 counselors. So KSAT obtained copies of the 911 calls made that day with people desperately asking for help. Our team in San Antonio and in Houston spent hours listening to hundreds of these calls. We didn't request them to relive the horror, but to learn from it. The information in these calls can help first responders save lives if something like this happens again. Our reporter Daniela Ibata found that dispatchers handled hundreds of calls from over Kerr County. Despite the chaos, dispatchers remained calm and professional. Some callers asked for help while others offered to lend a hand. Dozens of calls came from summer camps, including Camp Mystic. We want to warn you that these calls are difficult to listen to, and we're being careful about what we share.
Here at Camp Mystic in Hunt, Texas, we need search and rescue.
Camp Mystic's director calling for help shortly after 7 in the morning on July 4th. That's hours after the camp, located along the banks of the Guadalupe River, became inundated with water.
Okay, what's going on?
We're missing as many as 20 to 40 people.
One of the first calls from the camp came just before 4 a.m. Over the next few hours, staff and campers relayed the gravity of the situation to dispatchers.
We're out of power, hardly have any cell service. Here at Camp Mystic and Hunt, please, if you can call the National Guard, please.
We are missing a whole cabin full of girls.
27 girls died at the camp, as well as Dick Eastland, the camp's owner and the father of the director who made that call. Those needing help had to wait. One caller asking for medical help, worried about the flooding making them hard to get to.
Yeah, I believe we tried to go out there, but we're not able to make location.
So difficult to listen to. So several families of the 27 girls who died at Camp Mystic are suing the camp for wrongful death. They say the camp didn't provide evacuation training, ignored flood warnings, and failed to evacuate campers. Now, just this week, Camp Mystic announced new safety plans ahead of its partial reopening next summer. The Supreme Court will decide if President Donald Trump can end birthright citizenship through executive order. By accepting the appeal, the court will weigh a challenge to a policy that has been in place for more than 150 years. Legal experts say the theory behind the president's order is not widely accepted, but a ruling in favor of the president's order could radically reshape immigration law. The High Court will hear arguments next year and should make a decision by June. Well, talks to end Russia's war in Ukraine pick up again today. Over the past 3 days, U.S. and Ukrainian delegations have had what the State Department calls constructive discussions about finding a path to peace. They've set up a framework for security arrangements and talked about what it takes to keep the peace through strong deterrence. So both sides agree that real progress hinges on Russia being ready to commit seriously to lasting peace. It's 8:08 and 48 degrees out there. The Totally Tejano Hall of Fame and Museum is opening its doors this weekend. How you can see rare memorabilia, enjoy live music, and celebrate the legends and future stars of Tejano music. And over 1,000 mariachi musicians are competing for a chance to open for Mariachi Vargas tonight. After the break, we hear from Fox Tech high school students as they push in the final rounds for this victory in this high school showdown.
Good morning, San Antonio. You're waking up a little cooler in the 40s, but the clear skies have finally arrived. I'll talk about what some could still see for the rest of the day coming up later on.
Welcome back. 1,300 mariachi musicians from across the country are competing in a 3-day extravaganza at the Lila Cockrell Theater downtown. The winners get to open for the world-renowned Mariachi Vargas tonight. I spoke with students from Fox Tech High School as they move forward in the high school group competition.
The lights are exhilarating. they just hit you and you walk on stage and you just prepare yourself.
Since the 6th grade, Maya and Patrick have been waiting for this moment, playing with Fox Tech High School's mariachi as seniors on the big stage vying for a spot next to the world-renowned Mariachi Vargas.
I think 8th grade was the first year that I came, and seeing those groups, it's such an inspiration to me, and being able to be on that same stage is so, it's a lot of emotions come with that.
Fox Tech High School is a powerhouse when it comes to mariachi, having over 300 members, starting them in 6th grade. But it's been a while since they won the Mariachi Vargas competition back in the late 90s. But after sweeping the UIL competition last year, director David Zamaripa says they're ready. But it's really about being in the presence of so many talented mariachi musicians from across the country and world. This competition, what makes it so special to y'all?
The energy, the vibrance, the kids getting to see and hear the other students perform, get to be in front of the best mariachi in the world, Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlan, so much history.
For the students, they say it's just an honor to be sustaining their heritage on stage.
We just need to keep these traditions alive, keep the culture preserved.
And Shelby, what's really cool about this is that that's happening right next to the Henry Gonzalez Convention Center, and that's where the Marathon Expo is. And so hopefully the runners will be hearing some of that mariachi music.
Get them hyped and get them pumped for running.
Right. It goes hand in hand, and they're going to have perfect weather to do so tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow is going to be absolutely beautiful, similar to what we're expecting today. Right now, it could still be a little chilly, and that could still be the same for tomorrow morning. 49 degrees in San Antonio right now, 39 in Kerrville, 54 Floresville, 45 degrees in Del Rio. So most of us are sitting still a little cooler in the 40s, even some 30s. But what we've been seeing the last few days is that cloud coverage and that light drizzle to the showers. Most of the rain is still to the south of us near Laredo, Corpus Christi, and finally pushing off towards the coastal plains, where they could still see a little bit of that humidity if you're traveling to the coast later today. But really, we're expecting clear skies for most of us this afternoon. And the reason we've been seeing that cloud coverage and some of that moisture is because of an area of low pressure just making its way into Baja California and then going into Mexico. That has been allowed to feed in some of that Pacific moisture into areas of South Texas, and as it gets looped into Texas, what we have been seeing the last few days is there was another low pressure system just to the north and that high. So all of that moisture was really focused into our neck of the woods, and that's why it's been a little dreary, a little gloomy the last few days. But for us today, it's no longer going to be gloomy. 73 degrees is expected to be our peak temperature today. Still seeing those some clouds, but really most of us are seeing those clear skies throughout the next few days. And if you're going out and about for the San Antonio Marathon tomorrow morning, keep in mind, right around sunrise, some folks could be seeing the 40s, but for us, it's still going to be cool. You might need a few layers earlier on in the race, still sitting in the 50s, but by about 11 to noon to even later on in the afternoon, we're already seeing our temperatures increase into the 60s, into the 70s, still seeing those clear skies with that low humidity, but also the winds are going to increase. Today and tonight, we're just seeing the winds being out of the north at about 10 miles per hour. But tomorrow morning, we have a weak cold front moving through, and that's going to bring the winds to be a little on the stronger side. Not for everyone, but we could see an isolated gust up to about 15 to 20 to even isolated 25 miles per hour. So if you're running tomorrow morning, keep in mind, depending on which way you're facing, if you're going north, you might get a straight headwind, so it might mess up your pace just ever so slightly, and you might feel the wind on your face, so it might be a little cooler. And throughout the next few days, we're still seeing the winds being a little on the stronger side, finally starting to taper off Monday after that cold front moves through, after it's bringing a little bit of that cooler air. Now, how cold? Well, just seeing temperatures in the 40s to the 30s, a possibility of a light freeze for some folks, but it's not going to be widespread and it's not going to be a hard freeze, but it is still there. Warmer as we go into Wednesday through Thursday and Friday before yet another cold front moves through. And that could give us temperatures rebounding back to the 40s and even some 30s for some folks. So a little bit of a weather roller coaster. But the thing that's consistent throughout most of the 7-day forecast is our temperatures are really the only thing that's going to change. Still seeing those sunnier skies and still seeing that lack of rain, especially with the latest drought monitor, though, Sarah, we did see some improvement. We'll talk about that coming up later on.
All right. Well, at least the marathon is going to have.
The marathon's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be windy, though, so if you are running against the wind, that's the only
downside.
flaw. Yeah. Take that. I'm not running it, so it doesn't matter. All right, 8:21, 49 degrees. Let's take a look at what's coming up on Texas East.
All right, Chef, now we're out here in the dining room at the bar, and right in front of us, great bites out of the kitchen. We just saw the steak get put down on the grill, plus we got some cocktails out here. So I want to start with the steak, and then you have some broccolini on the side and a little bit of sauce on there. What kind of sauce is that?
That is our Merlot jus.
Beautiful finish on the inside, nice and juicy. Got to rest over there too. If it ain't dripping, you're tripping. The marbled fat adds a lot of flavor to it, and then that sauce, man, that jus on the side, extremely savory. It's delicious. That is a great cut and well done. Thank you so much. We're jumping on over chicken fried chicken, a southern staple that you're serving up out here on a bed of mashed potatoes, a little bit of white gravy on there as well. What's on the side?
Our cream corn.
Ooh.
All right, the long-awaited Totally Tejano Hall of Fame and Museum is celebrating its public grand opening this weekend, located on Fredericksburg Road. The museum honors the pioneers, legends, and future stars of Tejano music. Visitors can explore exhibits featuring rare memorabilia, artist tributes, and interactive displays that showcase Tejano music's rich history and cultural impact. Plus, there'll be some special guests with live music. Today's event is from noon to 8 p.m. It's 8:25 and 49 degrees outside. All right, babies as young as 7 months can now get cochlear implants for their ears. How this FDA approval gives little ones with hearing loss a chance to hear earlier than ever before. Plus, human remains found in East Bexar County of authorities investigating what the sheriff says about the discovery and what comes next in this case. Good morning, it's 8:30 on your Saturday, December 6th. We have Shelby in the house with us.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, Shelby, a lot of eyes on the forecast of the last week.
Yes.
But we're finally here because I know the races start today, but the big half marathon and full marathon for San Antonio's inaugural event is happening, and we have some good weather for it.
We do. We have amazing weather. I know a lot of people want some cooler weather because, you know, it's December, getting in the holiday spirit, but we're actually going to be feeling more like fall today and tomorrow. It is still going to be a little cooler for the marathon tomorrow, and I'll get to that in just a second. But this morning, as you're getting out the door, it's a little chilly, so you might want to grab for that lighter coat or maybe an extra layer that you can shed later today. 39 degrees in Kerrville, 45 degrees in Bernie, 45 in Del Rio, and throughout the next few hours, we're going to see our temperatures increase, and it's going to be feeling, like I mentioned, more like fall today. Getting into the 70s, still seeing those sunnier skies, but what we're watching is this evening still continuing to see those sunny skies. There is a possibility we might see a few higher level cirrus clouds make their way into the forecast, but a cooler morning today, a beautiful and comfortable afternoon, even a great afternoon to go get those Christmas lights out and about in your yard, put up some yard decorations for the marathon tomorrow. Still going to be some great running weather, except for the wind. We're tracking some gustier winds being possible, but we're also staying dry, sadly. I'll talk about what you can expect not only for the marathon, but how long we'll stay dry for coming up in just a bit.
Shelby, thank you. All right, new this morning, a man is in custody after a shooting incident involving a stolen truck. San Antonio police say this happened 3 hours ago on New Braunfels Avenue near Seguin Avenue and Osborne Street. The victim in the BMW says the suspect was in a gray Ford and hit the front of his car, causing it to wreck. Then the victim heard gunshots and ran. Witnesses say they saw the suspect get off the truck and follow the victim with a long gun. Police arrested the suspect, but only found a gun light on him and not an actual firearm. So they found the truck to be stolen and saw bullet holes on the suspect's car. Police say it's an active investigation, and we're going to update you as soon as we learn more. Meanwhile, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office is investigating after human remains were found on a property in East Bexar County. Sheriff Javier Salazar tells us that the skeletal remains were found yesterday afternoon along FM 1346, about 50 yards off the road. The sheriff says the remains appeared to have been there for several months and they were decomposed. So personal items were also found nearby, but it's unclear if they belong to that person. The sheriff's office is checking for missing person reports in the area, investigating whether foul play was involved. One dumpster is causing big headaches on the west side. Now, a local business owner says illegal dumping and damage are draining his wallet. So at Celebrate Dental and Braces on West Commerce near General McMullen, the cost to repair the damage has reached thousands of dollars. Our Avery Everett spoke with the doctor there who wants to know why he has to pay for something that he can't control.
It started as a nuisance, but then Clark Hepworth says he noticed a pattern.
This appears to be somebody's personal trash.
After about 8 years, this doctor says the trash problem outside Celebrate Dental and Braces has spun out of control.
It's frustrating.
From bottles to bags to even heads of lettuce, Hepworth says he's been left to handle this all on his own.
And I called code enforcement and they told me to call the police, so I had the police come out and do a police report. But they said they can't do anything to call code enforcement, and so it's kind of a conundrum here.
But we're not just talking trash. Celebrate deals with theft, vandalism, and even small fires. I'm standing on top of one of the old burn marks right now.
And you have an elaborate security system here, but it doesn't seem to stop people.
No, it doesn't stop people. Somebody came and stole electrical fuses out of the boxes here. And so had to pay to get those replaced and then pay to put locks on it. I've spent about $8,000 in new glass over the years.
So these problems are becoming costly.
Yeah, oh, it's very costly. If I have to call and have them come do an extra pickup, it's $350. That comes straight out of my pocket.
What's your call to the city for help?
What's in place to keep this from happening?
Since the start of the year, SAPD has been called to this business more than 20 times, but Hepworth says he doesn't call in every incident. Code enforcement confirmed one call here as well, but Hepworth says he needs more help.
So here you are with no solutions.
Yeah, other than suck it out.
After years of reports and repairs, Hepworth says the answer still hasn't changed. He's left dealing with the damage all alone. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
So when we reached out to the police about this business owner's call, a spokesperson said SAPD responds to certain illegal dumping cases at first, but after that, code enforcement or solid waste usually takes over. So a spokesperson from Solid Waste Management says business owners should call 311 after an illegal dumping incident. They can often remove the debris within a day or two, and there's no fee for that service. All right, U.S. Representative Henry Cuellar spoke publicly for the first time after President Trump's pardoned he and his wife earlier this week. The pair faced federal bribery charges for alleged foreign dealings. The congressman spoke with our Erica Hernandez. During the conversation, Cuellar explained that he was just as surprised as everyone else when he got the news, since he's not the one who asked for the pardon.
They sent the letter. They're adults, two smart daughters that I have. They sent it off. And I didn't find out about it till a reporter was asking me about it itself. So I think a lot of people were surprised by this.
There's been a lot of criticism of Cuellar since the pardon. He says he intends to continue representing South Texas because of the new congressional maps. His district no longer includes parts of Bexar County. And the CDC's vaccine advisory panel announced it's no longer recommending all U.S. babies to get the hepatitis B vaccine the day they're born. The panel still recommends babies get the birth dose if their mothers have hepatitis B or haven't been tested for the virus yet. The change applies to babies who don't fit either situation. For them, the panel recommends that babies start getting their hepatitis B vaccines when they're 2 months old. However, that lag isn't sitting well with some doctors.
It's also possible for an infant, if they're living with somebody else in the household that has chronic hepatitis B and doesn't know it, to get exposed that way. And so one of the concerns that's been raised is if you're waiting for 2 months to get that first vaccine, there's a window of time where that infant is vulnerable to contracting hepatitis B virus from a household member that may not know.
So hepatitis B is usually spread through contact with blood and can lead to serious health problems like liver failure and liver cancer. Bottom line, parents decide what they want for their kids. Experts recommend that you talk to your doctor about what's right for your baby. Meanwhile, babies as young as 7 months can now get cochlear implants. So Med-El, a medical technology company, announced that the FDA has approved its Synchrony cochlear implants for children this young with bilateral profound sensory neural hearing loss. This type of hearing loss, which can be diagnosed at birth, happens when the inner ear is damaged, so sometimes because of an infection that developed before birth. Before this, the implants were only approved for kids 9 months and older. These small electronic devices can help by electrically stimulating the auditory nerve, giving people with hearing loss a chance to hear. Happening today, Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones is hosting a community town hall at the Central Library starting at 11 o'clock this morning. She'll talk about the possibility of moving the municipal elections from May to November, discuss infrastructure and public safety, and just share general updates from City Hall. The event will be followed by questions and comments from the community. All right, you looking for some holiday fun? Precinct 3 Commissioner Grant Moody and Bexar County Parks and Rec are hosting a free Holidays in the Park event for families. There'll be holiday music, photos with Santa, a snow play zone, inflatable games, a train ride, and much more. Plus, to help make the holidays brighter for kids in need, you can bring new toys to donate to Elf Luis. The event is from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Raymond Russell Park. It's 8:38 and 49 degrees. The first race of the San Antonio Marathon Series just wrapped up. Find out how runners navigated downtown. Plus, we'll get you ready for tomorrow's half and full marathons, what the route looks like, and for those driving, which roads will be closed around town.
And not only do we have the marathon in San Antonio tomorrow, we have so many different events, whether it be the Bernie Christmas Parade, but what we also really need is rain, and sadly, it's not in the forecast. I'll tell you what we are tracking coming up after the break.
In Schertz, the city is hosting Holidazzle, a festive holiday starting at 10 a.m. There'll be a Kris Kringle market at the Schertz Civic Center showcasing local vendors, handmade gifts, and specialty foods until 3 p.m. Then at 4 p.m., the holiday hoopla begins with a snow play area and ice skating rink. Plus, Santa will also be available for photos until 5:30, and it's all free. Lastly, the Festival of Angels Light at Night Parade will start at 6 p.m., but make sure to arrive early because road closures will begin as early as 4. Okay, a big race is happening tomorrow morning, and runners are ready to hit the streets. Even if you're not running, it's important to know because a lot of roads, especially in the downtown or San Antonio Central, will be closed. Our RJ Marquez takes us through this year's new route, which passes through scenic and historic neighborhoods like King William and Olmos Park.
Well, we're getting ready for the inaugural 2025 San Antonio Marathon. We're expecting thousands of runners to lace up their shoes and hit the streets throughout a Sunday morning. So let's talk about the route that you're going to be taking and some road closures that you need to be aware of. First of all, we're going to start downtown, Main Plaza area, and then the route's going to take our runners all the way to the King William Historic District. These closures will be in place from 3 o'clock in the morning till later on in the afternoon. How about the Pearl area? So our runners are going to go up to the Pearl area, kind of the St. Mary's area, and then make their way up to River Road, that neighborhood, and we have those closures in place from 6 o'clock in the morning to noon. Again, these are projected times when they expect the most runners to kind of make their way through there. Now we go up to the Trinity area, Trinity University, the San Antonio Zoo. So it's going to be affecting all of our drivers that are coming up on 281, also parts of Mulberry Avenue, as we get all of our folks that are headed to the Monte Vista district. Again, these Sunday closures in place from 6 o'clock to noon as well. Let's take you a little bit further up north, and here we have Olmos Park. Okay, great. Olmos Park. Cannot wait to to see almost part of this marathon. These closures are going to be in place 6 o'clock in the morning to 1:15 p.m. over to Alamo Heights. So this will be kind of affecting all of our folks over in McCullough, Alamo Heights, obviously New Braunfels, Hildebrand, and 281 as well. These closures will be in place until 1:15 on Sunday afternoon. And then Menke Park, this is going to be affecting a lot of our folks in the Broadway area, the Broadway district, also over by Fort Sam. And then we're going to go south to the West Fort Alliance district. These closures will be in place from 6 o'clock in the morning to 11:05. And we're going to wrap things up back where we started, close to the downtown area. Finish line over at Hemisphere Civic Park by the Gonzalez Convention Center. A big congrats to all of our runners and everyone taking part in the San Antonio Half Marathon and the full marathon. We're going to have all this information on KSAT.com. Again, these closures taking place Sunday morning through the early part of Sunday afternoon. Be safe out there and good luck to everyone participating.
Meanwhile, the inaugural San Antonio Marathon Series kicked off last night with its first race, the 5K. So let's take a look at this video. Starting at East Market Street, runners made their way through downtown, crisscrossing over the Riverwalk before finishing on South Alamo Street at Hemisphere. The 5K race was the first race, which also kicked off the all-new San Antonio Marathon and replaced the Rock and Roll Marathon Series. For many runners, this was just the warm-up for the main event tomorrow.
We're running the 5K and most of us are doing the half as well.
I feel like the people who are visiting, there are so many people coming to this race, are really going to get to see the best of San Antonio.
Okay, so the half marathon and marathon are set for tomorrow starting at 7:15 a.m. And we are going to bring you live coverage. Our Madeline Lambert's going to be live throughout different spots throughout the race. So if you're cheering on people, make sure you find her. And we can highlight you and your cool signs and why you're there to cheer on your loved one.
We also have a few KSAT employees. Our Stephanie Cerna is running. Our producers, directors, we have so
Hold
many
on,
KSAT.
I have a list. I have a list. Oh my gosh, where is it? Where is it? Okay, it's Stephanie, Alyssa Medina, Ian Byrne, shout out one of our directors, Jennifer Tobias Stresky, Colton Parker, Misael Gomez, Rebecca Salinas, and Rocky Garza. Best of luck to our KSAT. We are such a fit station.
We are, and I will be cheering them
we're gonna
on
be
from
right here.
But the good news is they don't have to worry about rain for the marathon, which is a bit of a good news, bad news situation. Okay. So it's the good news because rain is going to normally make it a little wet, little gross, but bad news is we need the rain still. Right now you're waking up out and about in the 40s, some in the 50s, and where you're seeing the temperature still in the 50s, that's where they're still seeing rain this morning and still seeing that cloud coverage. We're talking mostly near the coastal plains of Victoria, Corpus Christi, Bayville, and even going towards Port A, but where they're seeing the clear skies, that's where our temperatures are still a little cooler because those clouds act like a blanket to keep us a little on the warmer side. And today and tomorrow, especially for the marathon, we're not watching any rain. We're still seeing those mostly clear skies, temperatures getting into the 70s. Still a little breezy though for the marathon tomorrow. We're talking about possibility of gusts up to 15 miles an hour. But we need the rain here in South Texas. Now, the rain we saw earlier in the week is finally pushing off, but it's because of a low pressure system just off the coast of Baja California. That's been allowing all of that Pacific moisture to really feed into areas of South Texas, but not only us in San Antonio, into areas of New Orleans, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and that's going to make a little bit of a wet day if you're traveling over to Florida because that low pressure system, all the moisture is getting looped in on the south side and above on the northern side of that high pressure system finally leaving Florida. But we could use more rain. Take a look at the rainfall totals of just the last 7 days. Yes, we saw that light drizzle, even some light showers, but it's been fairly light. Even along the aquifer recharge zone, we still had some very, very light, maybe traces of an inch or hundredths of an inch of rain, and we need more. Really, the only rain we saw was just on the southern portions of Bexar County, just along I-10. LaGrange and Bastrop did have that flash flood warning last week because of that heavy downpour. But this was the latest drought monitor as of last week. Not much of a change between the last few weeks, but last week we saw that extreme drought continue in Bexar County And we saw that extreme drought continue in LaGrange to Hallisville, all the way over to Floresville, Stockdale. Here's the drought monitor that was issued this week. A major difference, especially just to the east of us. To the west, really not much of a difference. There was a little bit as you go up closer just towards San Angelo near Rock Springs. That was abnormally dry last week. Now it has continued to move further south, but we need more rain for us here in San Antonio. And sadly, over the next 7 days, we're going to stay dry. We're not tracking any sort of rain. There is a possibility tomorrow for some light fog, but we are still about 3 to 4 inches below our average for the rainfall for us here over the year. Austin is below, Del Rio is below, and we're really not going to continue to see any rain chances, even in the upper level winds. We're going to stay dry over the next few days because we have an upper level high that is going to make its way closer to our neck of the woods, and that's going to give us that quieter weather, especially with that low to the north of us. That high isn't really going to be allowed to go anywhere, so we'll be waking up in the 30s and the 40s, peak temperatures in the 60s, and clear skies. We'll be right back after the break.
Hey, fellow runners, the inaugural San Antonio Marathon is coming up this weekend, and we want to hear from you about your personal journey leading up to all the events this weekend. So we're talking about the 5K, the half marathon, and the full marathon. We will be collecting your videos and your pictures all this week. So just head over to ksat.com/connect and select the Outdoors channel and the Activities category when you're uploading your pictures and videos for a chance to be featured on air and online. Happy running!
Well, don't forget to just leave KSAT on all day for college football. We'll have BYU at Texas Tech at 11 a.m. right after Texas Eats. Then Georgia takes on Alabama at 3 p.m. and Duke versus Virginia at 7 p.m. A lot of eyes on that 11 a.m. game, BYU and Texas Tech, who is number 4. All right, it's 8:57 and 49 degrees. Don't go anywhere because a toddler was seen wandering by herself. Just take a look at your screen there. And now her mother and grandmother are facing charges. How a neighbor helped alert authorities.